Hey guys, Gio here. Today I'm hanging out in the art district. I thought this would be a cool background. Everything's kind of closed because we are now in Holy Week here in the Philippines. So it kind of starts with Thursday, Good Friday, Black Saturday, and then of course Sunday, Easter. But this is a good place to kind of change it up for location-wise anyway. So today I want to talk about something that kind of really hits home for a lot of us guys, especially for us guys that are over 50. And that's why being single at 53 or older in Southeast Asia isn't just acceptable, it's actually a smart, freeing choice. And so that is what we're going to talk about in today's video. Stick around. So to start off, I want to talk a little bit about Western pressure versus Southeast Asia. You know, in the West, there seems to be like this pressure about being in a relationship. It never really stops. It just seems like you're judged if you're single. And even in the Philippines, a lot of times they'll ask you, "Are you single? Why are you single?" They seem to ask that quite a bit. But you know, people assume you're lonely or you're bitter, or something must be wrong. I mean, at your age, why are you single? They automatically think something's wrong. But here in Southeast Asia, nobody seems to really care so much. I mean, you do get the Filipinos who will ask you, why are you single at your age? And you just explain, well, you know, I'm divorced. And then they kind of get it. So you can be single at 53, 63, and even 73. And you're not weird, you're just independent. And you're not so much here defined by your relationship status. You're just kind of living, you know? And that being alone is just kind of a huge weight off of your shoulders. So second thing I want to talk about being single at 53, or soon to be once my divorce goes through, is the freedom to move, explore, and choose. And that's kind of one of the biggest things for me right now that I'm actually really enjoying. And, you know, being single gives you one powerful asset, and that is basically freedom. You know, I can live here in Bacolod for 6 months, then I can hop over to Thailand, check it out for a month, or even Vietnam, or chill in Cebu. You don't have to ask for permission or make compromises at all. And if you want to do something spontaneous, which I do quite often, like a spontaneous trip to another island or another country, done. You want to chill at home and do nothing? No problem. You know, if you want to spend the whole next week just chilling and binging a Netflix series, hey, no problem. You know, nobody's complaining. If I don't feel like going out for the entire week, if I want to go out every single meal for the week, if I just want to cook at home, you know, it's all up to you. All right, guys, this video today is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. Very important to have when you're traveling or even just at home in your home country for peace of mind and make sure nobody's hacking into your personal accounts. Like if you're on public Wi-Fi, very important. Right now, Surfshark is having a birthday deal. Big discounts going on currently. If you use my link that's down in the description in the pinned comment, again, they're having a big birthday promo deal. Sign up today. Don't travel without having one. Definitely when you're getting on public Wi-Fi, you want to make sure you have one because somebody could get in and get access to bank accounts and steal your personal information, and you definitely don't want that happening while traveling or anywhere for that matter. So back to the video. And so the third thing, I guess, would be you can still date, but on your own terms. So let's kind of clear this up. Being single doesn't really necessarily mean being alone. And I think a lot of people relate that. They think if you are single, you're lonely. And especially here in Southeast Asia, that is not the case. In fact, I used to tell guys all the time, you'll never be alone on a Friday night here if you don't want to. It may be difficult to find the right person, the right match for you, but you don't ever have to be alone and without a date in the Philippines. It's not difficult. So there's a huge difference. You can still date casually, have companionship, enjoy someone's company, but there's no pressure to jump into marriage or live in a relationship just because it's expected. And let's be honest, when you're not tied down you can actually take your time to choose the right person if and when you are ready. And that day may never occur, and it could occur. For me, I can't say with 100% certainty, but at this point in my life, I'm about 99.9% sure that the marriage thing is off the table now. I've tried it in the West, I've tried it now in the East, and for me, at this point in my life, it just makes more sense that I really don't want to be tied down. I don't even really want to even try a live-in girlfriend, to be honest, at this point. I'm really enjoying the freedom, and I think a lot of people do when they come out here. A lot of guys have come out here and they've already had 20 years of a bad marriage. A lot of guys, they suffer through a bad marriage and they hang in there to the end, and divorce happens, and then they start their second life. And so I don't want to do that. So number 4 would be kind of avoiding common expat traps. And so what do I mean by that? Well, I've seen a lot of guys, especially new expats, that rush into relationships here. And again, when I first got here, same type of thing, and even after. They're overwhelmed by the attention, the sweetness, the affection, because Filipinas, they can be amazingly sweet, amazingly affectionate, and a lot of guys just aren't used to that. And so they really get kind of sucked in. And the next thing you know, they've already moved their Filipina that they're dating of a couple weeks in, and supporting her and sometimes her entire family, and slowly losing their peace, their finances, and their freedom. Now, I'm not saying it happens to everyone. Obviously, it doesn't. But there are great relationships out there. I have several buddies who are in very happy relationships out here. But being single, especially early on, kind of protects you from a lot of these pitfalls. So number 5, focusing on yourself for once. And for the first time in decades, a lot of guys get to focus on themselves. They come out here and they really can kind of just focus on things they like to do. Maybe they really have the travel bug and they want to hop around and travel, or they want to, try scuba diving or snorkeling, and they really get into that. And you can just kind of focus on yourself and just, do what makes you happy. Your health, your peace of mind, starting a side hustle, building friendships, traveling. For me right now, it's really about my health. That's a huge thing. Really into, for the most part, eating very healthy. Going to the gym. If I don't get to the gym Monday through Friday, if I miss a day, I feel completely off. Like my day is just not complete, and it messes me up. So it's like I have to work out and travel. Travel always just makes me happy. Whether it just be to another island here in the Philippines or even just to another city nearby. So you're not constantly worried about being enough for someone else. You're finally investing in yourself. And at this stage of life, that's powerful. That's healing sometimes. And number 6, and if love happens, well, now let's say you do meet someone special, that's great. But you're going into it from a place of strength and not really desperation. And I think a lot of guys, they come out here and they're just so focused on meeting the right girl. They're still not really concentrating on themselves. And I think that's a mistake for a lot of guys. So, you've already proven to yourself that you can live, thrive, and enjoy life solo. Now you're adding someone to your life. You're not looking for someone to complete it. And that's the healthiest place to be, trust me. Filipinos respect a man who's confident in himself and doesn't need anyone to feel whole. My closing thoughts on this topic, and this is where I would love to hear from you guys. Please comment down below and let me know what you think. Single, live-in girlfriend, married, never going to get married again? Would you have a live-in partner, or would you never even do that again? For me, at this point in my life, like I said, I'm just happy being solo. Dating, of course, I still want to do that. I just don't want a live-in partner, and I definitely am not looking at marriage at this point in my life. So yeah, being single at 53 in Southeast Asia, I think it makes total sense, at least for me. It's not about loneliness. It's about freedom, peace, and choosing your own path. And for once, I really, really like that. And again, if love happens along the way, awesome. But for now, enjoy what life has to offer, travel, keep myself healthy and fit, and just enjoy life to the fullest. So let me know again in the comments, are you single and living abroad? What's been your experience so far? And hit that like button, subscribe for more talk, and don't forget to check out my website, geointhephilippines.com, for expat guides, dating tips, and consultations. And I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.
Just like you do, Joe. Watching